all there is to it. So hey, we are live. All right. Hey.
We're live.
And there we are. We've got someone else to add to the mix. That's great. I think I have a banner here somewhere where I can maybe show what the no, is it? Yeah. I don't know if gosh, it's all this gobbledygook. You know what I mean? The StreamYard link. That's one thing bad about that. But anyway, it should be on social media where you see us. If you're out there watching and you want to jump in here, there's room for you. So welcome. This is Role Play Wednesday. Hello, everybody. We are live. Sorry, I'm just getting used to things. But that's kind of the way we have to live nowadays. I feel like I'm always having to get used to something. I was joking around the other day. I'm in the real estate business. I think most of you know. And I was kidding around about this, but kind of tongue in cheek because there's some truth to it. You know what I mean? And I was saying I feel like I'm a member of the Platform of the Month Club.
Right.
Anybody, you know what I mean? Like every month, like I'm off on some new platform. Like this one here does texting, but this one here does drip texting. This one here does replies, automatically, in other words, and this one doesn't. And this one has a CRM built in it, but this one does. It's like, it's never ending. Like the Platform of the Month Club. Yeah. So this is kind of like this new StreamYard too. I'm so new at it, so I'm just trying to figure out how to make it work in some respects. But anyway, I appreciate your patience. Are you guys? Are either one of you guys in the Platform of the Month Club?
I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
So Ben says yes, and Dave says he doesn't know what that is. No, what that
We
is
used to call it
basically shiny object syndrome. Basically, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Or it's
Right?
always something.
A new toy.
Yeah, always something. Yeah, always a brand new toy. All right, we got a couple more people here. Hey, welcome. Hey, welcome. Helen and Joseph. Hey, it's nice to see you. I think we've met once before, but maybe we didn't. I've just seen we've been in the same meetings together, maybe.
Yes.
But it's nice to meet you. I'm Justin.
Nice to meet you, Justin.
We know.
Okay.
You are too famous. Yes.
No, I'm not that
That's right.
famous. No, not famous at all. Actually, that's not even the goal, really.
How are your family in Ukraine?
Thanks God we have no family in Ukraine, but we have a lot of friends. And when friends call in to say goodbye forever, it's terrible. And I just pray that every person who needed this war and who responsible for this war, including our government, will be in hell as soon as possible.
That works for me.
I know who I'm talking about with.
Yeah, let's not get too political here.
Yeah, it's a wild world we live in nowadays, and it's times like these. It makes me think of in the last couple years, really. You might be healthy, you might be happy, you might be prospering, but you've met someone. You've met someone, or someone who has been touched by something like this that is, it's or something profoundly, remarkably
We're all touched by this. We're all gonna be touched by this because we have no people who cares about us. So we all gonna be hurt. It's World War III.
Well, we certainly care about. I know a lot of people do care. I don't know what, I think a lot of people feel this way. I don't know what to do other than pray. I really don't. So
Nothing we can do today.
yeah. Well,
Sorry, guys.
yeah,
Dave, I really appreciate your question, and guys, I know that you do care, and I
sure.
appreciate, and I know that it's not easy for you to close this topic. So let me do it. Let's just switch the subject. Otherwise, it's gonna be.
I understand. I appreciate you being here, Helen and Joseph. And our hearts do go out to you and your family and
Thank you.
friends and Ken. Yes. Let's talk about objections today. I've been doing the sales and real estate business for many years now, and I still get objections every single time. And sometimes they throw me off a little bit. And then I've also and there's I think a lot to be said about handling objections like I like to think of them like the flashcards. I even have flashcards, to be honest with you. When you have flashcards, you're basically just getting, hey, Dave's got some flashcards. When you have flashcards, you're just kind of getting some training in how to think about responding in certain to certain objections. So I like the flashcards, but they're good training tools. But nevertheless, even though you kind of have some skills with it, there's homeowners that come at us. Maybe we're having a bad day, we're a rough time. They shoot objections at us, questions, stalls, things that are really not helping us close. We want to close. These are not helping us close. Now we have to deal with this stall, this objection, these questions. What do we do? Well, I have written down like quite a few questions. Okay, because you guys remember that Guts is a questions-based sales system, right? Everybody agree?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
with it being a question-based sales system, so I've noticed that I asked some of these questions. I've stolen some of these questions from other people that I've heard. I only try to steal good ideas, but I have certainly stolen some of these. I've heard myself saying these, and I've been like, "Oh, that's good. I want to write this down." So I've collected this set of questions I want to share, and I'm going to try to figure out how to share my screen here in a minute. And I want to share it with you, but these questions help me isolate an objection. But more than that, they help me set up a closing. Okay. It reminds me of Glengarry Glen Ross. You guys ever seen Glengarry Glen Ross? The movie?
Oh yeah.
If you haven't, okay. If you have not seen Glengarry Glen Ross, then you need to definitely, that's your homework, like go rent the movie Glengarry Glen Ross and watch it. It's all about selling real estate, but it's kind of a dark movie. It's got a lot of really big stars in it. It's a classic. It's, to me, the best sales movie of all time. It's just really, really good.
Is it on YouTube?
It might be on YouTube. It's definitely around. It might be on Netflix or Amazon.
Glengarry Glen Ross?
Yeah.
That's a weird title.
Well, there's a speech at the very beginning of it. And at the pretty close to the beginning of it. And it's Alec Baldwin, and he's talking about dealing with the sales scenario, and he says always be closing, right? The ABC of sales. Always be closing. And I find that this is kind of a tough thing for salespeople until they get the hang of it. How am I to always be closing, right? How do I always be closing? Well, with Guts, it's great because it's a question-based sales system. So you're going to be asking these questions. You're going to be asking a lot of questions. You're going to be asking mostly questions. So that's one way of isolating the objections, but transitioning also into a closing. It's a setup for a closing. So these questions I've written down. You'll understand when I show them here. They are what has helped me do that. All right, let me see if I can share screens right here. All right, hold on. All right, so let me just start at the top here. To use these questions, use them to set up and close a prospect, and be prepared to listen to their answer and follow up with the closing question. Okay.
Can you make that bigger? Because I want to snapshot the screen.
Is it not really big? Hold on, let me see if I can do that. Boom. Okay. Good idea. Okay. So this is the setup question, right? This is, if I put that, this is not the setup question. This is the closing question. Sorry. If I put that in our agreement today, like for example, Mr. Homeowner, if I put that in our agreement today, does that make you comfortable enough to move forward with me? Okay. Now, that is a great closing question, right? Would you agree? A closing question. If I put that in our agreement today, does that make you comfortable enough to move forward with me today? So if a homeowner was saying some objection, or, hey, I don't like this about this, or, I would do it if we did that, but not until I get this much, or whatever it is. Well, if I put that in our agreement today, does that make you comfortable enough to move forward with me today? Okay. Does everybody agree that that's a closing question?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So how do I get there? Well, I have these setup questions that I've caught myself using. I've got them from various places, like I mentioned before, but these are questions that help me set up, isolate the objection and set up a closing. Okay. So number one, for example, here is, I can tell that selling your home to the right person is important to you. Why does it mean so much? Okay. Now, when they give me the answer, I want to say, okay, Mr. Homeowner, if I put that in our agreement today, does that make you comfortable enough to move forward with me today? Do you see how that works? There's a setup question, and then there's the closing question. Okay.
Yeah.
I've just noticed this pattern. All right. In my own.
There's reciprocity.
Yeah. Number two here, why do you feel that way? So no matter what the homeowner says, I might say, Mr. Homeowner, why do you feel that way? Okay, whatever he says, if I put that in our agreement today, does that make you comfortable enough to move forward with me today? It's isolating down that objection. It's setting me up to ask a closing question. Okay. I like it. It gives me some confidence and some freedom. Number three, why is this topic so important to you? All right. So I guess let's pause for a second, and I want to just discuss, do you guys think that this is translatable to other industries?
For sure.
Like besides real estate, because I'm just talking in reference to what I do, which is talk to homeowners.
I highly suggest, unless you wrote down all that really quick, that you would have snapshot those screens.
I'm going to give this away to you, man. You don't even have to screenshot it. Yeah,
okay.
I should have told you that 10 minutes ago. I'm going to give it to everybody today. Yeah, I'm going to figure out a way to put it in the chat here, and I'll give you a link to it. You can just have it. Okay, so the first one was, I can tell that selling your home to the right person is important to you. Why does it mean so much? How could we rephrase this? This is Role Play Wednesday, so let's rephrase this for some other industries. Is there anybody else in the room that's in another industry besides real estate?
Yeah,
Okay, Ben.
I am.
How can we rephrase? Let me share screens again. Let's see here. I can tell that selling your home to the right person is important to you. Why does it mean so much? How can we rephrase that for your particular industry, or what is your particular industry?
It's investing in precious metals, and predominantly it's investment grade gold and silver coins, and of course now palladium. But it's what I see there, Justin, is the reciprocity. If I do this for you, can you do this for me? And then the Uncle Claude criteria of today, move forward today. Can we do this? We'll do this deal today. Are we good? I had a client yesterday. I explained that we have a particular guarantee in the product, if you will, that I was presenting, and she kept telling me there are no guarantees. There are no. I've had but there are no guarantees. And so I asked. I said, help me to understand for my own benefit. She says, I've had guarantees. And I said, so people have given you guarantees in writing, and they failed to deliver. Help me to understand what your experience has been. And we moved forward. Well, not arguing. I just let her explain.
Yeah. You isolated the objection. Does everybody understand what I mean when I say isolate the objection? I've just been kind of saying that without talking about it at all. Does that make sense to anybody? Everybody okay with me saying isolating the objection? You know what I'm referencing? Because Ben was doing it there with that.
Yeah, you're not just blowing
isolated
over.
Her objection was her experience.
Mm-hmm. Yep. What were you saying, Dave? You got your mute button on now, man. There you go.
My book keeps hitting you. I said you're not just blowing past her objection. You're basically want to make sure you cover whatever their concerns are, and steer it back to them with the questions so that they elaborate.
Yeah. To me, isolating the objection really means getting to the real objection, the true objection, what it really truly is.
Yeah.
Okay. Is it true or not true that prospects of any industry will they'll throw smoke screens? They'll lie to you. Could we just be honest about it and say they'll lie to you? The old saying, buyers are liars.
For sure.
And sellers are too. Right? So, buyers are liars and sellers are too. So you got to get past. I had an old sales trainer one time taught me. He said, well, everybody's only got one, maybe two good lies in them. And, I wondered what he meant, and I asked him one day, I said, what are you talking about when you say everybody's only got one or two good lies in them? He said, well, when you knock on the door and you're talking to we were vacuum cleaner salesmen door to door. He said, when you're talking to one at the door, he said, and they tell you that, they got dinner on the table, or they got tea on the stove and it's about to boil over, or like, hey, I was about to wash my hair. He's like, they only got like one or two of those all pre-programmed up here ready to fire.
Ben can't use that one.
Ben can't use that one. Yeah, that's right. He said most of these people only have one or two of these pre-programmed. He said, but you need to be aware that they do have one or two of these pre-programmed. I bet you've got one or two of these pre-programmed responses in your mind.
It's a defense mechanism.
What do you do when somebody knocks on the door? Who is it? Who is it, right? You're looking out the window, you're checking the peephole, right? Then you open the door and it's a stranger, and he wants to talk to you about your car warranty. Okay, I don't know. I just made this up. Well, you've got an immediate response. No, man, this isn't a good time. You know, I got to pick up the kids. And
I have no car.
Yeah, I was about to leave, you know, so I don't have time to talk about the car, or, you know, or whatever, you know. Could be an insurance guy, could be a real estate person, it could be maybe a roofing contractor, maybe a driveway paver. It could be all kinds of folks, but we all already kind of have an idea of how we're going to turn this person away because we ain't interested, right? Yeah. We all kind of have that pre-programmed.
It's a defense mechanism.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't have time right now because, you know, something's on the stove, you know. I don't have time right now because whatever. We've got an excuse that we like, usually. And my old sales manager, he used to say, well, we only have like a couple of these usually. But why that's so important is as a salesperson, you're not going to close deals. 99 out of 100 are going to have at least a couple of these objections or stalls or questions that you're going to have to overcome. Right?
Yeah.
I think mathematically that plays out, right?
People don't like conflict, and when they see a stranger that they didn't initiate the contact with, then they feel, you know, I've got to defend myself here and get out of this situation before they start. You know, if they allow them to start pitching, then they've got to sit there and commit, and they're obligated, and then they're going to have to figure out a way to say no.
Right. I totally agree. It's a human nature thing, right? A human nature thing for them to, for me to have a couple good lies in us, you know, like
that's why I love Claude's. I'm getting back to you. Hey, I got your number here. I somebody just put it on my desk. This doesn't have anything to do with real estate, does it? You know, something like he's getting back to them rather than cold calling them.
Right. Guts is great at it. Yeah. Uncle Claude is a master of it. He's isolating the objection. Here's a great representation of this idea. And you've heard Uncle Claude do it. You know what? It sounds like you'd really like, you know, you're a polite person and I like you. You're very nice. And I just enjoy talking to you because you remind me of me. Stroke me. Right? That's what he's doing, right? Just a little bit of stroking. But, you know, a lot of times when people give me these BS objections, he doesn't put it in those words, but when they give me these objections, they're really just being polite, and you're just being polite, and you would really like to just tell me no, wouldn't you? That to me is the ultimate objection isolator. Okay.
He's beating them to the punch. He's basically disarming them.
He's getting right down to what is wrong. Right? What is wrong? The real, true objection. He's isolating it down. Here's another way that he does it.
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Homeowner or whatever, Mr. Prospect, this isn't going to be a good fit for me, but before I go, he's starting to draw things in tighter, right? He's starting to isolate down to the final objections.
Taken away.
If we're
Yeah.
going to do a deal, it's going to be very, very soon. He's drawing the conversation to a point. I like this setup that we were talking about earlier, which is what I find myself doing, and I find it to be agreeable to Guts. To ask these types of questions. Now, these are not script questions, but these are, we can study some questions and it would do us some good. So I can tell that selling your home to the right person is important to you. Why does it mean so much? And then when they answer, if I put that in our agreement today, does that make you comfortable enough to move forward with me today? Okay. You're moving along in the conversation. Maybe number 2 you use. Why do you feel that way? When they give their answer, you would say, if I put that in our agreement today, does that make you comfortable enough to move forward with me today? I love using the word today. Oh my God, I love it. Okay. When I'm calling you today, I'm calling you to talk about making an offer today. Is that something that we can talk about doing today? Or okay, it is wonderful. Well, I wanted to ask you a few questions. Let you ask me a few questions. If it's not a good fit, you can tell me no.
Hey, Justin, I just wanted to make a comment on what you've got here.
Yeah.
This is not script, but these are things that you should just incorporate into your conversation. As these are the questions you should be embedding in your memory as a reflex to say, rather than memorizing a script. It's just general questions to lead the customer.
I totally agree. Thank you, man.
We all agree.
I'm sorry, say that again.
We all agree.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Let's go ahead and go through them. Number 3, why is this topic so important to you? I think you can ask any prospects a lot of these across any industry. Why is this topic so important to you? Why is buying a car today so important to you? Why is buying fine metal coins important to you today? Why are we talking? That's how Claude says it, you guys. Why are we talking today?
Yeah.
You see, but it's the same spirit, right? Same spirit. Why are we talking today? Why is this topic so important to you? What are we doing? You called me for what? What'd you call me for? What are we doing? What are we doing today? Okay. All great setup questions. Okay. Well, if I were able to do that, are you comfortable enough to move forward with me today? A setup question and then a closing question. Okay. Number 4, I'd like to put all these things that are important to you in my offer. I love this one. I'd like to put all these things that are important to you in my offer. What else do I need to know to understand better? Now, no matter what they say, okay, if I were to put that into the deal, is that something that makes you comfortable enough to move forward with me today? Boom. See, I'm always closing. A, B, C. Always be closing. All right.
I have a question on that. So if they start coming at you with 2 or 3 other items and they tell you why it's important, what do you respond when you realize that's not going to be necessarily a good thing for me? So now you have to get into that explanation. Like, I understand why that's important to you. However, for us to do business today, I need this, or I can't do that. How do you lead into objecting to their objection?
Well, that's not going to be a good fit for me.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I want to, but that's just not going to be a good fit for me. So, but real quick before I go, here's my final counteroffer. If I were to do this, is that something we could move forward with, or is this over? Okay, nobody ever promised you could close everybody, right?
No, but if they're giving you some of their wants and needs,
No.
and you're saying, if
Yeah.
I put that in the agreement, but I can't do everything,
Right.
then there's compromise.
Yeah. I mean, I have reached my limit, right? I mean, as a salesperson, I've bent over as far as I can go, right? I cannot give any more. That company will not allow me to give any more. I cannot change the agreement in this way. I cannot add this benefit. I cannot add this amount to the purchase price, whatever it may be, or deduct this amount. I cannot offer that discount. Well, this is not going to be a good fit for me. You know, we are getting down to now this person may be someone that needs to be fired. Okay.
Or you rephrase that with, okay, so if I put this in the agreement.
One of the things.
But go ahead.
Go ahead, Ben. I think he's got a little time lag, is what it feels like.
Oh, yeah, I can't see what's the Columbo close, as they say. You know, we go, well, it sounds like it's over, but let me just say this.
Right.
Say I need cash or terms in the deals that I do, or let me say this with most of my clients, it's either the price itself or how to handle the payment. Is that what's holding us up today?
Yeah.
And
isolating.
Whatever
See,
they say,
again,
you go,
isolating that objection.
Yeah. Before I go, and you keep the hook. Before I go, let me just say this.
Yeah.
And it will reveal itself.
Yeah.
And it's always money. 90% of the time.
I was just gonna say,
they don't have it.
I was just gonna say, like, you asked that question, you know, they're telling you their needs, and you're like, if I could put that in the agreement, but then they say something you can't, then you explain that, and then you say, what would you say to me next? The Claude line.
Yeah. And then and then if I were to put that into the agreement, if I were to make this happen, if I were to offer this discount, if I were to do this, is that something that makes you feel comfortable enough we could move forward with, or is this over? That's great stuff. Great stuff. We've kind of gotten into some deeper things, I think, today, and that's great. I like it. Number 4, let's do that one again because I like it so much. I'd like to put all these things that are important to you in my offer. What else do I need to know to understand better? This right here is how you also, I think, as a salesperson, I'm just going to throw this out there, everybody. And if this doesn't apply to you, that's fine. But this is a great if I believe in foreshadowing. Okay. I believe a comment like this early on in the conversation and then a listening ear will help you maximize your sale, or it will set you up for future upsells right after you close this sale. I'd like to put all the things that are important to you in my package today. What else do I need to know to understand better? What else can I sell you, Mr. Prospect? Right? I mean, that's basically what it's saying. All right. Now, so if I put that in the package, right, we're going to go back to our closing question. If I put that in the package today, does that make you comfortable enough to move forward with me today? If not, then there's another objection. We need to find out what it is. So maybe we'll ask number 5. Well, what would we have to change for this to work for you? When he gives you the answer, okay, great. Well, if I put that in our package today, does that make you comfortable enough to move forward with me today? If he says, no, there's something else that's been bothering me. All right, tell me what it is. He tells you what it is. Then you say, well, Mr. Prospect, what would you say if I said I could handle that and I'm okay with what you need? Well, that's what I love about guts. Guts is like killing them with kindness. I mean, it really is. It really, truly is. It's giving them everything they reasonably could expect, and that maybe even then some. And I'm just going to throw this out there because I'm in the lease purchase business, and I know Claude is the godfather of lease purchase. But if you're doing a lease options, lease purchase business, and you're in the assignment business, my goodness, you're really a down payment flipper because you're assigning those deals away, right? So, I love to give the seller exactly what he wants because I'm going to assign that deal to some guy over here that wants to move in. It's not going to be my problem. Okay. I don't need it to be a perfect deal. I just need it to be something decent enough somebody wants to give me 10 grand to move into. All right. That's just a thought. I'm just throwing that out there.
Yeah.
But what would you say if I said I could handle that, Mr. Prospect? And I'm okay with what you need. If I said that I'm okay with what you need, what would you say? Isolating it down to the final objection. Okay. So you might have to ask, because everybody's got 2 or 3 good lies in them, you might have to ask a few of these questions. Okay. So you're not going to get off easy with most prospects and not have to, I don't know, why is it flashing like that? It's crazy. Did you guys see that?
Yeah, it was nice.
That was weird.
I think it was the CCP.
Boom. All right, so here we go. We're back to number 7. I think I got this one from Uncle Claude. I'm confused. Can you tell me more about that? Could you tell me that again? I'm confused, Mr. Prospect. Can you tell me more about that? Could you tell me that again?
Yeah, it's a classic exclusive of the Guts.
That's classic Guts right there. I'm confused. Wait a minute.
I don't know.
Here's a good question, everybody. When you're doing your prospecting and you're on the phone, I assume you're on the phone nowadays. Okay, I assume you're not going door to door selling vacuum cleaners anymore. But when you're doing your phone work,
thank God.
Yeah, right. Although I was pretty damn good at it, I'll be real with you.
Yeah.
All right. When you're doing your phone calls, are you animated at all? Okay, like if you say to the homeowner, "Hey, Mr. Homeowner," if you did number 7 that we just read there, Mr. Homeowner, I'm confused. Can you tell me more about that? Could you tell me that again? Okay. Do you say it and act it out while you're doing it? Very helpful. I find it to be very helpful in the phone sales world. Okay. Animate your body.
Struggle.
It'll do something to your voice. It's magic. Okay. When you say I'm confused, Mr. Homeowner, I want you to literally reach up and scratch your head like you're trying to play charades and he's supposed to guess by your action. Oh, yeah, this dude's like trying to figure something out. Right? I'm confused. Can you tell me more about that? Can you tell me that again?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's powerful.
Yeah.
Powerful. When might we use this? Someone give me an example. I'm confused.
Well, instead of when we say you can't think about it, rather than saying it like a parent, you say it presenting opportunity. You can't think about it, or you can't think about it. The lottery ticket is in front of you. There's a difference.
Yeah. It's isolating down the objection. I'm confused. Can you tell me more about that? Could
The
you tell me?
tonality.
I'm confused, Mr. Homeowner. Can you
Mhm.
tell me really what's up right now about this? I mean, really, what's going on? That's really what it's. I'm confused. Can you tell me really what's the matter? I'm confused. Can you tell me really what it is that's keeping you from
Yes.
signing this deal? I'm confused. Why aren't we doing business right now?
You
I'm
know,
confused. What is the one thing keeping you and me from doing this business right now? That's really the spirit of that, in my opinion.
I don't know. I've watched it 100 times, but I still really struggle with "you're not allowed to think about it" line. It just, I, I don't know. I'm not programmed in my head to use that. It's hard for me.
Yeah, yeah. That is a
What's
tough one. You gotta
what's
you
your
gotta have
what's your
guts, I think,
what's the
Yeah.
comeback? The
Yeah.
comebacker to that? What do you mean I
Yeah.
can't think about it?
Just tell me no, and it's over.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna come out with a chorus. I gotta ask Claude's permission though, because he owns guts. Trademarked, copyright written, whatever, all of that stuff. You think of it, he's got it on there. So I got to get his permission. But I was going to ask him if I could come out with a new chorus called Gutless. And it'll be the great unconventional techniques of losing every single sale. Gutless.
He might go for that if you give him accolades to
Yeah, maybe.
the original.
Hey, these are the things you want to do. These are the great unconventional techniques of losing every single sale. And it would be basically from start to finish a description of what most salespeople's day looks like.
You might want to write Guts 3.0 with him and just be put on the co-authoring.
That's hilarious. So nobody in the room would buy Gutless. Nobody would buy Gutless. See, nobody, and I agree. You shouldn't buy it. You shouldn't. All right, you should buy Guts. Everybody wants guts. Nobody wants to be gutless. But gutless is how you lose every single sale. But, guts is how you actually step up and win, right? So you got to ask those questions. You got to step up and say, hey, I've done it before too. Hey, it's, you're trying to stall me. You know what? You don't have permission to think about it. I've stepped out and said it. Oh man, I'm out there on a limb now. Okay. Because I've never said it before. I heard Claude say it. Here I am now. I'm out on a limb. I told a customer, told a client, prospect, yeah, now you're not allowed to think about it. I've even tried that whole thing. Hey, let me ask my wife. Hey, honey, is it okay if this guy buys for me today? Well, my wife said it was. So let's go ahead and do business. Okay. I've tried that. You know what? Claude does it and it works. I don't know. I've tried a couple of those things and fell flat.
That's because Claudia's in the next room and you can hear her say, yeah, it's okay.
I was missing something in it, man. Something in it, right? So, but I have learned by stepping out like that how to phrase things differently and in my own way. Okay. Now, I also recognize that in my particular industry, when someone says they want to think about it, okay, that's a pretty obvious red flag. Like, hey, I've got objections you haven't answered. You have not isolated the objection. You have not answered the objection. I want to think about it as I have not had all of my questions dealt with and my concerns, and I'm not ready and I'm not going to do this. Or it might be it's too expensive and I don't want to be honest about it. Okay. So, isolating the objection, using some of these setup questions,
So if someone saying I have to think about it, is it a good idea to ask can I help you? What you gonna think about? Maybe I can help you to answer your questions.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. You know, you should find out what it is. Exactly. I agree. When someone says, okay, well, I want to think about it. Okay, wonderful. You know, you seem like a smart person. I can't blame you for wanting to think about it. What is it exactly that you want to think about?
Yeah.
Okay, because I want to think about it. Well, what does that mean? Because does that mean I want to go ponder this upon the tree of woe? Or does it mean I just think it's a little too expensive for me right now? Or if I had financing, maybe I'd be ready to do it, but I don't have that much down today. I only have 500 down instead of 600. Maybe it's some small thing. You got to find out what is it you want to think about. How many salespeople in here have had this experience where a prospect has said, I want to think about it. And you've asked the question like, hey, well, what is it exactly that's keeping you from doing business with me today? What is it you need to think about? And then they actually came out with the truth. Finally. Well, I've only got $100 in my pocket. And if I had till Friday, I'd do the deal today, but I can only put 100 in today and I can put the rest in on Friday. That's the truth. Okay, we finally got down to the truth. Right? Like Jack Nicholson, you know.
Yeah.
Did you order the code red? You're damn right. You know. You guys don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It's an old movie. It's not that old. It's kind of old
When
now.
I hear that line, what's the truth? I go into Rocky 3 where Adrian's on the beach with Rocky. What's the truth? Damn it! That's what comes into my head. Not Jack Nicholson.
Yeah.
I had a seller tell me that it was because his gut told him not to do it. So how would you answer that question when I asked them, you know, what's the reason why we're not doing business?
Yeah. You know what? Your gut, sir, this is what I'd say. Sir, I'm sorry. When you say your gut, do you mean like you feel like maybe God's telling you not to? Okay.
Mm.
If he says, yeah, something like, you know, well, yeah, honestly, you know, it's a good deal. I mean, everything seems right. I just have a real bad feeling in my gut about it. I feel like God's telling me not to do this. I'm just supposed to wait. Okay. You know what, man? I cannot trump God.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But honestly, there's probably something other than God that's really pushing this issue. You know, I just feel like in my gut, I don't want to do it. Sir, what is it that makes you uncomfortable about this deal? Please tell me so I can fix it.
Mm.
And we can both move forward happy. Okay, what am I doing? Trying to isolate down that objection again. All right, so let me share the screen. Why is it doing that?
Again, it's still pretty.
All right, so it says here, I'd like to put all these things that are important to you in my offer. Yeah, what is it? What is your gut telling you? I'd like to put what your gut's saying down into the agreement. I need to know so I can understand better. Are you picking up what I'm laying down?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, number 8. What has led you to feel that way about this?
Nice.
Hey, Valerie. Hey, Javette. Hey, Claude. Good to see you. What has led you to feel that way about this? Very big question. Very big. It's also isolating the objection down. When they give you the answer, well, if I put that in the agreement, is that something that makes you feel comfortable when we can move forward today? Okay. The setup and the close. Oops, what just happened? Okay, here we go. Number 9, have you had a bad experience with something like this before? Oh, I love it. When might you use this? Have you had a bad experience with something like this before?
Oh, we've tried that rent-to-own program, and the people just wrecked it. So we don't want to do that again.
Right. Have you had a bad experience like this before? Right. So,
Yeah.
let me see here. I'm going to put this private chat here. And then I'm going to try to put a comment up here too with this actual link. You're right. I agree. That's a good time to use it, Alan. Have you had a bad experience with something like this before? And then when they tell you what the bad experience was, if I promise, if I put it in the agreement that I'll never do that, and that way that this won't happen that way again ever, is that something that makes you feel comfortable enough that we could move forward today?
Well, who'd be like responsible for the damages? I'd still have to fix it up, though.
Yeah. Who would you like to fix it up? Who would you like to be responsible for fixing it up?
Well, of course, the people living there, but I mean, I'm guessing that, given they might not have the money to do so, and I guess I'm going to be stuck with the bill once they move out.
Oh, you're talking about if they decide to move out, tear up the house, burn half of it down, stop paying rent for 6 months, squat in it, bring wild animals through, have wild intergalactic keggers, rip the drywall off, bust all the windows, that stuff?
Precisely.
Well, sir, have you had a bad experience with something like that before?
I did, and that's why I'm weary about going
Wow.
with this type of
Wow.
purchase.
Well, maybe this is not for you. I've not had that experience, but maybe this is not for you. You've got me concerned, man. You're a little too jittery for me. That's how I feel about it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
This guy, you don't want to hypnotize and magicianize somebody into buying into something, because it's going to really wear you out with it. They'll wear you out with it later. Yeah.
Thank you for pointing that out. That's probably a disqualified guy then, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, that's it.
You just
That's
offer you.
I'm
I
sorry.
don't, Mr. Seller. Mr. Seller, I don't have a crystal ball. I've not had that experience. I've done many transactions. Yeah. Here's what we can do. Here's what I can do to try and mitigate that. Blah, blah, blah. Would that put you more at ease? Yeah. Do you want me to sugarcoat it, tell you what you want to hear, or can we talk about how that's handled in the business that I do?
Perfect. Yeah. I mean, you can try that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's exactly what you should do. Yeah. But this person might not be qualified material. I mean, when it comes down to it, if they're just scared to death that somebody's going to get $1 out of them and they're going to lose out some way or another, then my goodness, keep your dollars. I mean, whew.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, that person right there will call your damn office every damn day of the week. Hey, this person said this, or hey, I got a letter from this company that said that, and hey, I saw this on TV and it made me think, you're not doing that, are you? Or it's just like, fucking what? I'm sorry I cussed everybody, but those people will drive you to madness. I mean, really. Yeah. So be careful, you don't need to sell everybody. You don't even want to,
Sure.
All right. Let's scroll down. Number 10 here. When was the last time someone offered you full price? Oh, I love that, especially if you're in your lease purchase business. Okay. What would make this work better for you? Number 11. If we went ahead with this, what would be the worst thing that could happen?
Oh, that's cool.
There's your preemptive strike, Alan, right? On the question you were just talking about.
That's gold right there.
That's your preemptive strike. If we went ahead with this, what's the worst thing that could happen? I'm hearing you saying this, but I'm also hearing something else. Could you explain? This one here, man, it comes in handy. I'm hearing you say this, but I'm also hearing something else. Could you explain? I'm isolating it down to what really is keeping us from doing business. Number 14, if you don't sell your house to me today, how are you going to change your results? All right. Maybe you're like, ooh, that's a little high pressure. Maybe that's a little high pressure. Well, you know, it's not gutless, it's guts, right? It's not great unconventional techniques of losing every single sale.
For sure.
All right. If I design number 15, if I design this offer, if I design this agreement, if I design this paperwork, if I design this package, if I design this car, whatever it is, if I design this coin to fix your exact issue, do we have a deal? That's pretty gutsy. If you're wondering how to stop talking and start closing, try a few of these questions. Number 16, I see where you're coming from. How did you arrive at feeling that way about it? What leads you to think that about that? Okay, just digging deeper. Number 17, if I were able to make that work, what would it mean to you? I think that's a great way to talk about closing the money. Yes, you can have a copy of this, Valerie. Text me. And I'll shoot you the link, okay, directly to your phone.
Could you scroll up just a little bit?
Yeah. I put it in the chat here too in the StreamYard, and then I put it in the comments somewhere. It might be on some social media. I don't know, but if you wanted it, I'll give it to you. These are great ways to transition from talking about whatever to closing. Now you want to talk about closing, ask a few of these. Number 18. Number 17, I just like it. I'm in love with it. If I were able to make that work, what would it mean to you? I'll tell you what it'll mean. It'll mean some money. Some money if you're talking to me. If I'm able to make that work, it better mean some money. All right. Number 18, if I were to sweeten the deal with this, would that be enough for you to move on this with me today? If I were to do this, if I were to give you that extra little thing that's bothering you, if I were to give you that extra little perk, that extra little benefit, if I were to give you that extra little discount, would that be enough for you to move on with this with me today? Okay. Number 19, what if that weren't true? And I could make it all better. What would you say about that? All right. That's it. That was fun. I had fun with that, y'all. I had a good time. I don't know where Ben went, but man, thanks for being here today.
Thank you.
He dropped out. It's good. It's good for me when people show up, you know. And it's always nice to see happy, smiling faces, and it's good to see Helen and Joseph and Alan.
Thank you.
It's
Thank
good
you.
to see. We have several other people that are just listening in. Ben was here. We have Anthony. We have Alex. We even had there was a female here in the room. I think she slipped away already. But anyway, you guys have I guess any questions or anything before we wrap up? We've been going about an hour. I think we can just wrap up and go have a sandwich.
Are you gonna put this in Claude's Skype room?
Oh, that's a great idea. Why don't I just do that? I'll do that, and then I'll put it in my group too. If you're in my group and not in Claude's, I'll take care of you in my group in the chat and stuff too. So everybody's good on that. If you want this, you can have it, and maybe like print it out. Just kind of hang it there by the phone or something, so that when you need to remember some of these transitional type questions, you can just boom right on it. You got flashcards too. You know what? Damn, you just inspired me. I need to make a new set of flashcards with these closing questions on them.
Index cards, yeah.
All right. Love you guys. Y'all have a good
Thank
day.
you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Helen.
Thank you.
Thank you. I love you guys. Stay safe today. Okay.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.